On today's Buckeye Roast, Ohio State went belt to ass against Penn State this weekend. We will get Q's thoughts and break it down. Also, the new AP poll is out, and we're going to let you know our thoughts on where teams slid and where teams rise to after another week of college football. The Buckeyes have officially launched their Heisman campaigns, who's got a better shot, and elsewhere in the SEC, Hugh Freeze is out at Auburn, and in Columbus, Jim Knowles, congratulations, you played yourself. I'm Chris Drew, and this is the Buckeye Roast with Ron and Q, right here on Dead Air Sports. Make sure you like and subscribe.
You feel me? That's a get back. That's that get back. You feel me?
Good morning. We are back for another episode of the Buckeye Roast. It's your boy Ron James here with my guy QP Ski. Q, how you doing?
Not too bad. Glad to be back in some warmer weather. So can't complain. Another crazy weekend of college football and outside of college football. So, hey, man, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Like Jermaine Matthews said, it's that get back, and the Buckeyes get that big get back over Penn State and Jim Knowles this past weekend. Q, before we get into the Buckeyes' big victory, we have to address the elephant in the room. We've been gone for 2 episodes. Last Friday, because Q was in Utah. One of my best friends from high school was getting married. I had a rehearsal dinner Thursday night and wasn't able to record. Q was out in these streets in Utah.
Not sure how that happened for Friday's show, but sure.
It's kind of how it happened. I wasn't home when Q needed to record, and by the time I got home, Q was not available to record. So we're not at. Would you say?
I was at the Jazz game.
Who won?
The Trailblazers did by 3. 134-131.
With an interim coach.
It's a great game.
Great game. Yeah, and then yesterday, I mean, this is just yesterday us missing the show was a perfect example of 2 people doing a show in different time zones with actual jobs and things going on in their lives and just trying to plan. And we scheduled a time to record. I fell asleep, slept through my alarm. Q's sitting in studio ready to record an hour early, not realizing that the time change, and now he's only 2 hours behind me and not 3 hours behind me in Arizona. So it was just an entire cluster. I woke up panicked in the middle of the night trying to call Q to record. Just did not happen. So we're back. We got it. We're here.
Yeah, I totally did not realize. Obviously, our time does not change here. So, yeah, I was like, I swear he said this time. Well, he's not here. Let me call him. Nope, no answer. I was like, well, hopefully he answers while I'm awake. And I was asleep by the time he did.
So, yeah, we try to start the show with a trivia or fact or something cool to learn at the beginning of the show. So there's your tidbit of the day. There is no time change in Arizona. So if you're ever doing a podcast with a co-host in Arizona, be sure to reschedule around daylight savings time because it's hard to get on the same page. Q, I've had a lot of messages from people in the community, and I felt like we need a segment where we highlight the people that support this show. So I just wanted to take a second and show off Emily's awesome. She always sends me pictures of BI from the sidelines during the game. Sometimes I'll get live shots from the injury tent. So a big shout out to Emily for always sending me game day pictures, and just wanted to extend the offer to everybody else out there that watches the show. If you want to be shown on the show and you're at Buckeye games, go ahead and show us what your Saturdays look like, and go ahead and DM us those pictures on Twitter, and we will get them on the show. A couple other pictures that I wanted to get to. A big shout out to Posh and our guy Ben Vargo for the Dead Airheads hoodies. They delivered them to the Menace Studios for Chris, and they got a couple of their own. We should have some merch coming here soon. So a big shout out to Posh and Ben for the hoodies. Posh there showing off the Dead Airheads hoodie. And then I got another interesting text this morning, and it's more of a throwback picture, Q. and I tweeted it out, and it's going viral right now. And I put the caption on it. It was all a dream. Because, Q, when we first started talking about Ohio State football, all three of these guys were still in high school. And it was just, honestly, a dream and an argument in spaces, the idea that all three of these guys would end up Buckeyes one day. And now all three of them are national champions.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, at least relatively, Carnell, Tate, and Brandon Ennis look like they're a little bit away from what we see them as now. Jeremiah Smith looks like that was 10 years ago. Like, an actual child in this picture. So this growth spurt went crazy. I'm sure the dreads help, but there's a lot of maturing between then and now, just looks wise.
Absolutely. Just an awesome picture from a time capsule, I guess. And just knowing that these guys have been playing together for so long and potentially more championships ahead. And just wanted to get, again, another big shout out to our community for sharing all of those photos. Q, before we get
one question. Are we sure Emily is not on the team? These photos are like from it was like she was about to go out there herself. It's like, no, B.I., you got this one. I'm going to get on the next one. So.
I saw someone questioning something in the comments that she had said about something that she observed at the game, and someone was like, "Are you there?" I'm not trying to be snarky about it. I'm like, was she there? She's practically on the sidelines. Her seats are so awesome. Posh has awesome seats too. If you're out there listening and you guys have great seats, if you don't have great, if anywhere in the shoe is a great seat, your seat inside the shoe is better than my seat at home every Saturday. I for sure tell you that. So if you're in the shoe on Saturdays, man, let us know where you're sitting and share some pictures. But yeah, I know Posh and Emily, both of them, insane seats.
Sounds good. I have to call in some connections. But until then, play the song. Let's do it.
Absolutely. I had a message from our sponsors, but I didn't click the video fast enough, so I'm going to try it again.
Hey guys, we got a lot of cool stuff going on the channel right now, so make sure you like and subscribe. Obviously, Ron and Q are doing a great job going daily for the Buckeye Roast, and then me and Tyler are sprinkled throughout the week doing all things Ohio sports. The channel hit 3,000 subs super quickly, and we couldn't do that without you guys, and we want to continue to grow. So make sure you like and subscribe, and we appreciate you guys as always. What does my little brother do? He goes, peace.
That video was recorded less than 11 days ago, and I could not find the most recent one because I know Chris recorded one to celebrate 3,500, but Q, we're about to pass 3,600. So in the last 12 days, I think we've added another 600 subs around here. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. We do Ohio State content daily on this channel. Make sure you check us out, smash that like button. It helps us a ton. Q, it's ridiculous the pace that we're growing at right now.
Yeah, I mean, and it's all credit to y'all, like to subscribers, people in the community that support, people in the comments. It's always good seeing those and running through. And I have a ton of stuff to throw in the community from jazz games, stuff like that. So get more active in there. But Ron's doing a lot of work behind the scenes. So those subs are like an affinity gauntlet to his edits and videos. They just help it enhance and they get better and better. So appreciate all the subbing. If you haven't subbed, go ahead and hit that button, and we're gonna give you more content.
Absolutely. And a big shout out to Chris and Tyler as well. Chris putting out a ton of content on the channel. Him and Tyler doing great work on I-71. But Q, we got plenty to get into. We had so much to talk about as far as the community before we started the show. So I had to bump our stat of the day to the second block of the show. And that number is 8.7. Q, any relevance to that number to you?
8.7. Okay, I'm gonna go on a wing here. Was that the seismograph scale for how loud it was on Saturday against Penn State?
No, that was not. 8.7 was the yards per play for the Buckeyes on Saturday against Penn State. Why is that number significant? Because that is the most points per play given up by a Jim Knowles defense since the Peach Bowl and the most points given up by Penn State defense since before 2016. Shout out to the Doug and Bill podcast for that stat. And I thought that was an insane stat to think about the fact that even when Penn State has had down years on their defense and the standard that they've set at defense, no one did what this Ohio State offense just did this past weekend. How surprising is that to you?
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, 8.7 yards per play. I mean, even I'm sure even the Jim Knowles was still at Oklahoma State, he'd be like, what is this? Like, it shouldn't happen to his defense, but that just tells you how much they were clicking. And I mean, you saw just the aerial attack by Ohio State. I thought the run game looked better. I mean, we'll happen to it later, but Julian saying, I remember I rewatched the game earlier, and I remember, like, he had missed 3 passes in, like, the second quarter, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, hey, he's not going to miss another one all game. So, yeah, they absolutely balled out. Shout out to Harline, shout out to Ryan Day, and shout out to players for getting it going.
Absolutely. Q, we saw another chaotic weekend in college football. We will circle back to the Buckeyes later in the show, but I guess we could talk a little bit more about the Buckeyes. They remain number 1 in the AP poll. Each week, it seems like there's a contingency on Twitter that is hell-bent on finding any AP voter willing to move Ohio State from 1. And at this point, I'm like, do it. Go ahead. I dare you. Give them more motivation. I want this team to stay as hungry as possible. And if you want to slight them by moving Indiana ahead of them before the Big Ten championship game, I dare you. You already blew my 1 versus 2 matchup against Texas. You already blew my 1 versus 2 matchup against Penn State by them just being a complete poop stain this entire season. Fine, knock us back and let it be a 1 versus 2 in the Big Ten championship game, Q. Are you surprised that the Buckeyes stayed at 1, or do you think that at this point it is just hate on the timeline to even suggest that Indiana could be the number 1 team in the country?
I mean, well, one, credit to Indiana. I think they're playing extremely well and they're rolling along. And if you would swap the logos, you would say, like, oh, that's Ohio State is rolling along, playing as well as Indiana is. I mean, the problem is there's 2 of us, and Ohio State has done nothing wrong to be moved back. I mean, they continue their dominance on defense. I mean, you look at the score, and anybody outside, they're just checking the halftime score, saying 17-14. Like, Penn State came in, and Ohio State's not playing that well. It's like, no, we fumbled and made it a game when it really was never a game at all. So I think Ohio State absolutely dominated. They suffocated again, slow pace of play, not coming out here to score 50 points because they don't need to. And again, they've shown nothing to me or really any of the audience or the AP voters to say this is not the best team in the nation. There's somebody else out there that we believe that can beat them.
Q, is it fair for people to look at last year's matchup between Ohio State and Indiana and say, hey, we watched this movie before. Indiana was undefeated going into that game. They had an explosive offense. They were absolutely rolling. They didn't have the signature win like they did over Oregon, like they do over Oregon now. But is it fair to say, hey, we've seen Indiana do this before, and we've watched them run into a buzzsaw when they see Ohio State. Ohio State is the defending national champion, and people are making arguments that this team could potentially be better than even last year. Is it fair to just say, hey, Indiana, I don't care what you do. You could go win by 100 every week until I see you avenge that loss after the way you looked so inferior as far as a talent standpoint when you got on the same field as Ohio State? I need you to do it again before I can put you any higher than 2.
I would say that's not really that fair. I mean, if you think about just the elites in college football, those games that really are program-changing wins. I mean, you think about teams beating Alabama or teams beating Georgia, obviously Texas A&M and what they've done this season going to LSU. Like, one of those marquee wins, I mean, Indiana got one. Going out to Oregon and beating them really handily was a big-time statement. I mean, Ohio State, again, different Oregon team, but Ohio State couldn't do that last year. It's just a hard place to go out and win. And you would say if Fernando Mendoza doesn't hit a dude in the numbers in the wrong jersey, I mean, that game ends up not even close. So I think Indiana has done everything in their right to be the number 1 team. Now, again, Ohio State's playing extremely well, and you see all the talent, and I think that's the biggest thing. Ohio State just has names all over the field, so it's hard to move them. But I think this is a different Indiana team. A year later into development, you've seen them hit the portal. You've seen them coach very well. They look maybe the best coached team dealing with the least talent, like, in the country. Like, those dudes are playing like they were 4- and 5-star recruits walking around. So I don't think it's fair to judge them yet. Again, we will see in the Big Ten championship, but also adding Fernando Mendoza, he's a Heisman candidate, going to be up there probably in the top 3 when it's all said and done. I think Indiana, if Ohio State wasn't consistent and you had maybe a chink in the armor or a close game like we would usually get from an Ohio State team, when it was like, what happened there? I can see them putting it at number 1. Problem is, Ohio State just hasn't done that yet. They're not giving anybody any reasons to move them off that spot.
No, I don't think Ohio State has given anyone a reason to move them off that spot. And I guess maybe it's just my Ohio State bias and the fact that, we were negative years old the last time Indiana beat Ohio State. But it's like the same way that I feel about Notre Dame. Like, you can put whatever product you want out on the field. You're going to have to prove it to me because you've repeatedly shown an inability. And you know what else I'd put in the same category? Ohio State beating Michigan post the pandemic. Like, it's been 4 years now. I'm not going to assume this is just going to happen just because everything on paper tells me that it should happen until I see otherwise.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those. You want young guys, the less they know, the better, because obviously the more you know, the more you struggle in these games. Yeah, I mean, I with you, it's kind of that same analogy. Again, Indiana's young under Kurt Cinetti. I mean, he got that big time money. You think they're going to pour money in the program, so I'm happy to see where that's going. Especially with Oregon out there. You think Penn State will bounce back? Like, you've been looking for that kind of 4th team to jump in there. You're like, what's Michigan State coming back? No, it's Indiana. They're here, and they look like they're here to stay currently. So you're hoping they hold that spot, but again, you can't move Ohio State at that spot right now. And again, I think the top 5 as it sits, unless somebody loses, even Georgia, who did not play well this weekend at all, it should have lost. They're really not happy about moving those spots. It's going to take something a little drastic for them to move that top 5.
Absolutely. I'm taking a look at this. Obviously, my favorite game of the weekend was seeing Miami fall. They dropped to 18. Fair?
Yeah, I mean, we may have not done many shows recently, but we sure called that one. Said, is there anything sure about this game? No, because Miami's playing. And again, they come out, the offense looks shaky at best. I mean, the Mustangs come out and they do enough to stay in the game and end up winning it in overtime. And it's just like, this Miami team is not consistent. And that's what we talked about. Like, yes, some weeks, I mean, that Notre Dame win, I think Notre Dame's a good team. Like, it looks really good, but can they do it week to week? And clearly there's not a lot of teams in college football that are consistent week to week, maybe outside of this top 3. So, I mean, outside of that, there's not many. And Miami's just one of those. They're extremely talented, but week to week, they fall apart. And it's different things every week. The analytics didn't play well. Carson Beck threw 4 interceptions. It's just like, if you're going to be a team that wants to win championships, you just can't have those level of mistakes, or you can't do it more than once. And Miami finds a way to do it a few times. And you look down their schedule. I mean, Pitt's still coming down the line. They got to play Syracuse. Not saying they shouldn't beat Syracuse, because they should, but at this point,
Syracuse only completed 4 passes last week after I just hyped up Fran Brown a lot. I'm pretty disappointed in the Orangemen right now. So I don't know how much stock I'm putting in that game. But Fran Brown's a funny-ass coach after saying, you know what? You guys want to see what the backup looks like? I'll show you. We ain't making a bowl game, so you want to see him come out there and only complete 4 passes? I'll let you guys see it if that's what you want so bad. I think that's hilarious.
Fair enough.
Give the people what they want.
We'll see how Miami season shakes out. They can't afford another loss, especially not in the ACC right now. So probably one more, and they're really out. But yeah, right now I'm not surprised at all they lost that game.
Yeah, no, not surprising at all. Is it surprising that, and we talked about this on the show, a coincidence that they didn't play a single game outside of the state of Florida until November 1st, and then November 1st rolls around and they lose their first game out of the state of Florida?
Not surprising. We talked about it, and Chris Drew talked about this a lot. Traveling and playing these games aren't necessarily easy. So, and it's pretty unfair that they didn't play a game outside of Florida until November. That's still a ridiculous stat. But it's not easy to go on the road in these places and get wins. That's why these teams that are able to do it, it's more credit to them and going on the road. But again, they didn't have to travel when they did. It came to bite them, so we'll see how they hold down the rest of the season. But I mean, I'm sure Ohio State got blamed for this loss, like we do every other loss. But Miami's got to find a way to be consistent. And again, I'm looking at Mario like, look, bro, we didn't give you every resource in the world. Like, we pulled this program out of the grave, and year after year, you were finding a way not to make the playoffs. So if it's me and I'm a Miami fan, which luckily I am not, something has got to change. And at this point, a lot of stuff has changed, and Mario would be next for me.
Ooh, did you just fire Mario?
I mean, you think about it. The ACC has been wide open, Ron, for how long now? How long has it been since Clemson has kind of fell off the roof? I mean, you had
Florida I believe State. Ryan Day murdered them back in 2019 was when Ryan Day killed them.
Yeah, I mean, really, since the NIL era, the ACC has been wide open, and who's really poured more resources into their program? I mean, we don't know their stat because they're a private school, but I would say maybe Texas A&M, maybe the only team that's poured more into their program than Miami, and that's a maybe. I mean, Miami has all the talent in the world. They're bringing in guys. They're signing $5 million quarterbacks every offseason. Their defense looks good. So, I mean, for the most part, they found a way to have some consistency there, but it's kind of the first time for that. Then the offense falls off a cliff. It's like, bruh, if we're going to give you all this stuff, and you're in Miami, which recruits itself, you can't get to a playoff. And what is this for Mario? Year 4? Year 5?
I think that's a fair point because you look around and it's like objectively, Mario's teams have gotten better every single year, but the results really haven't. It's kind of looked like the same thing every year. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know how every year I think this. It's like their overall goes up on NCAA every year, but the team doesn't win any more games. It's like, how is this team getting better on paper every season, but not winning any games? And I guess when you put it that way, you do have to look at the leader of that team. Q, I wanted to ask you, fair or foul here, you have Notre Dame at 10, a 2-loss team that lost to Miami, a 2-loss team. Why even play the game?
Well, I will say, and I think we should give the benefit of the doubt a little bit to teams that play these matches very early. I mean, looking at back of that game, I mean, I thought
Why should we? Do you think people would quick question. If Ohio State goes out and loses to Texas week 1, Sam Arch Manning miraculously comes back and gets the win in overtime, and then Texas goes out and looks like mud like they have for the last 8 weeks, you think people are going to be like, well, Ohio State, I know they look like a juggernaut right now. They'd be like, no, they went and played an SEC team and looked like crap, and now they're just beating up on scrub teams. Why are we giving people the benefit of the doubt?
I mean, it also the eye test, I think, helps you out a little bit there. I mean, Notre Dame, very early in the season, I thought and this is a ridiculous thing to say, but if that game was 4.5 quarters, Notre Dame would have won. Like, they got shell-shocked early. CJ Carr's first game coming in, all this hype. It's his first time in action. That second half, they were walking Miami down. Now, again, Miami made enough plays to kind of keep them off, but I think that game had to be just a little bit longer. Notre Dame probably wins. And really, since that point, I mean, Notre Dame loses to Texas A&M. We discredit them for that, but Texas A&M now is the number 3 team in the country, so how many teams are really better than them? Other than that, I mean, Notre Dame has gotten better week after week after week, and it seems like
have they gone better, or have they just started playing worse competition, Q? Because I'm laughing looking at this schedule because it's a who's who of teams that I slander on a regular basis on this program. I mean, were you impressed by when their defense gave up 30 points to Purdue in week 3? They won 56-30. Okay, was it the 56-13 win over Arkansas?
Yeah, but that's what you should do against Arkansas. I mean,
okay, here's another team that I think I might be the biggest hater of this program in the history of this program. Boise State. I just watched Pitt hang 50 on NC State. That's not impressive. USC. We've watched them get thumped.
At least a good team, at least good at worst. And again, you look at around college football, there's not a lot of really good teams. I'll say Notre Dame really lost a close game to Miami, who was this vaunted number 3 team. They fell off. They're big Miami recently, so they have fell off a little bit. And they're in a game where the way they lost against Texas A&M is almost about the worst way to lose I've ever seen. So, and they're the number 3 team in the nation, just went out and blew out LSU at home. So it's not like they lost against scrubs. They had 2 basically playoff games against 2 teams who should be playoff teams. and they came up a little bit short. And ever since then, they've really handled business. Their trajectory up. USC was that test. Could they beat USC, go out there, get a win? USC was a team that's not quite a playoff team, but pretty maybe just one step away from that point. They go out and get the win there. I mean, there's not enough on their schedule to kind of prop them up, but you would say, like, the level of football they're playing right now, they look, as good as the top 6, in my opinion. They just have 2 losses.
Yeah, I don't know. I just can't get over the fact that you've lost 2 games already. Like,
I mean,
in one of them being to Miami. Okay.
Okay. So question here. Let's stop at Oregon. If we look at Ole Miss, BYU, and Texas Tech, all neutral site against Notre Dame, do you think any of those teams really beat Notre Dame right now as it stands?
No. So, and that takes me to my next point, bro. I have BYU's schedule up. Their big wins: Portland, Stanford, East Carolina, Colorado, West Virginia, Arizona, Utah, Iowa State. I'm not convinced that Slippery Rock has 2 wins with that schedule.
Slippery Rock, they would have done pretty well with that schedule right there. But I will say I think I'm happy for the Big 12 right now. I just don't know how official it is. And so Utah was the team for me, man. I mean, you look at the way they just blew out Cincinnati, and it's like, hey, how did y'all lose that BYU game? It's just my question. So that was the team for me. So now I got to prop up BYU because I have respect for Utah coming in. But yeah, there's not that many teams out there that you would think is contenders. And I think Notre Dame, with the talent they have, they're finally starting to catch up to where that preseason hype is. Like, they're as much of a contender, and the matchups will make a difference. So we'll see how those go. They're about as much as a contender as probably everybody outside of Ohio State. Like, I would probably put Ohio State in tier 1, Indiana maybe in tier 1.5, Texas A&M maybe tier 1.5. Everything else, Indiana has as good a chance as anybody else to win a national championship this year. Are they last year's Ohio State? If the Ohio State wasn't there,
Texas,
you might look at it like that.
Is Texas about to make the playoffs?
They're close.
You were like, nah, and then you looked and realized they were at 13, and you're like, oh man, they're knocking on the door.
They have not played like a playoff team. I will say that.
Mind you, they have a 17-point win against number 11 Oklahoma.
I got you. John Mateer just coming back. Also, man, you know what? I gotta talk about this game. We'll go back to Texas in a minute, bro. I was the most disappointed. I took y'all know how my Saturdays be. I took my time to watch this Oklahoma-Tennessee game because I was like, I am about to see one of the most fun quarterback duels I'll see all season. John Mateer obviously has been balling out most of the season until he got hurt. He was supposed to be coming back. Tennessee, high-powered offense. The quarterbacks were awful in that game. Absolutely. Bro, Ron, it looked like me and you dueling it out playing on SEC teams. Like, that's how bad they were just throwing it to DBs in stride. I'm like, what are we doing out here? So, Oklahoma gets no credit. I get it. They get the win. They knocked Tennessee probably out the playoffs, but they get no credit for me because that game was not fun to watch. Or it was fun to watch if you love defense and craziness. But yeah, I mean, Texas has found a way to win and moving forward there. I mean, I think that's the most important thing. They are one of those teams where you feel like if they do make the playoffs, they're going to get blown out in the first round. And you'd be like, well, I told you they were fraudulent. But if you don't lose games, it's hard to really hold that against you. So they might be. I mean, if I look, I look at that UVA and I just can't trust it. But they play another conference, so they'll probably get the benefit of the doubt if they can make it in that first 2 in the ACC. Outside of that, I don't trust Oklahoma. I don't trust UVA. I would put Texas in before those 2.
I'm looking at this, and it's like, man, we could have done with a 4-team playoff this season.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it. I mean, again, Alabama, the team out there that maybe most concerned me right now. If I'm looking at Ohio State, again, I still don't know what Texas A&M is. The LSU win, a lot of credibility in my
Alabama
book.
almost just lost to South Carolina, bro.
I know, but that's the thing. It's just it feels like one of those like saving years where it's like, man, I sure waited for them to drop this game and they don't, and they just end up being this really good team at the end. I don't trust Alabama, but I'm just looking at talent. I'm like, I don't fear Indiana or Texas A&M as much as that Alabama logo right now. That's just being biased.
Yeah, a couple notes before we pivot. I wanted to take a quick peek behind the curtain. If you guys haven't already, check out the instant reaction that Chris Drew and I did for Bleacher Report on the channel. Did absolutely crazy numbers. At some point during the last 5 minutes of the recording, you can see me look down out of the bottom of my eye and crack a quick smile. And I wanted to cut in, but we were in the middle. If this would have been on any other platform recording, I would have cut in and mentioned what was going on. But our Spaces group chat, like with all of our friends from Spaces, was blowing up. I got like 6 messages back to back to back. And in my head, I instantly knew what that meant. The Miami game had just ended and they lost. I knew Miami lost because for that many people to be texting in that particular group chat, I knew it had to be one thing. And I catch it out of the corner of my eye and I powered through the last couple minutes of the instant reaction. And as soon as the show wrapped, I grabbed my phone. I'm like, I think Miami just lost. And it just went into overtime and they lost while me and Chris were wrapping the show. So that was a little fun way of finding out how Miami lost there. I'm taking a look at this. I'm taking a look at this top 25, and it's just so confusing to me of like, just like, what is a good 2-loss team and what's a bad 2-loss team? And I'm looking at some of these teams and just Notre Dame has to play Pitt in 2 weeks. And Pitt's an unranked 2-loss team that is on an absolute tear right now. They beat Florida State. They just beat Syracuse. They put up 53 on this NC State team. Just beat Stanford. Is this a team that could potentially derail the rest of the season for Miami and Notre Dame?
I mean, yeah, they got both of them on the schedule, and Pitt's basically was loading up for that last like final stretch run for them. So I mean, a lot of still with 2 losses. I mean, a lot to play for, a lot of credibility to be gained by Pitt. We can see them in the playoffs later. They can find a way to win out. So definitely the opportunity for them. But yeah, I mean, you look at it, I wouldn't necessarily call it a buzzsaw, but it's starting to look that maybe like a mini saw right now running down the hill. We're like, yeah, you might not want to step on that because it might trip you up. I mean, definitely Miami is in red alert right now, and I think confidence is flailing over there during that program. I think Notre Dame is running about as high in confidence as anybody. So I'm very interested to see if they can stay consistent through the end of the season. Obviously, with Pitt coming down the line, that wouldn't be the marquee win. It wouldn't be the name, but that would be a good win on the resume if you're really watching college football and looking around. So, yeah, they could. I mean, I'm interested to see Pitt, maybe the most exciting team right now to watch because they have a good final stretch of the season.
Absolutely loaded schedule. Virginia Tech, or I'm sorry, not Virginia Tech. They have Georgia Tech, Notre Dame, and Miami. The opportunity to not only play spoiler, but they could go from spoiler to potential playoff team after switching quarterbacks mid-season. They switched a true freshman Ohio quarterback in Mason Heistel, and they have been undefeated since. Their loss is coming to a 1 touchdown loss to Louisville with their backup quarterback. Or I'm sorry, a 1 touchdown loss to their rival in West Virginia, and then a 1 touchdown loss to Louisville, both with now their backup quarterback. Is this a team that we could see potentially contending? Georgia Tech takes their first loss to Q. Do you know off the top of your head who they lost to this past week? I watched the game and I'm just completely blanking right now.
Give me one. I'll tell you in a second. You can continue. I'll leave the scoreboard.
No, the point was that Georgia Tech went from a team that was rolling undefeated, looking like the favorite, to go win the ACC, and then they stumble this weekend in the most Georgia Tech fashion, despite Haynes King looking like one of the better. They lost to NC State. I knew it was something ridiculous. I knew I watched the game. It was the CJ Bailey game, and it's just like, How do you go out and go ahead?
Oh, I was just saying 48-36.
48-36. I had just watched NC State go get pounded by Pitt in Heinz Field the week before. Pitt hangs a 50 bomb on them, and then NC State goes to beat Georgia Tech, the top team in the ACC, and you look and you have Virginia just sitting up there. I know Virginia doesn't have the easiest stretch to finish the year, and it's looking like the ACC is wide open at this point, and it's going to be whoever can win these last couple games between Miami and Pitt. If Virginia is able to win out, I think ACC, at one point I was saying this could be a 3-bid league. It's looking like a 1-bid league, maybe?
I think they might get 2 in there if Georgia Tech can hold strong and one other team can finish. I mean, like a Pitt can finish on a barn burner. I think they could get 2, but it's definitely not looking like a 3-team league right now. The the Big 12 would, all rightfully so, the Big 12 will riot if the ACC costs them another team's bid.
Virginia, and here's the thing, Virginia has to play Duke before the end of the season. Duke has 1 conference loss right now, so they're a team that could potentially end up in the ACC championship game because despite having 3 losses, only one of them has come in conference to Georgia Tech, and that was a 9-point game. So I don't know, man. It's going to be fun watching down the stretch with the ACC because it like, you know what we have right in front of us, Q, right before the holidays?
What?
A good old-fashioned mid-off down the stretch.
I was going to say, in all our time watching the ACC basketball all these years, well, did you ever think there was a time you would say Duke and Virginia face off in a meaningful game, not on the hardwood?
No, not at all. And with the way Virginia hoops have been on and off lately, I don't know how many meaningful games on the hardwood we've been getting.
Not the Virginia of old. Virginia used to be my arch nemesis as a Maryland fan. I hated
after you gave up on beating Duke.
How they stopped playing us because they knew it was good.
You guys ran to the Big Ten. I digress. Q, the Buckeyes, or not the Buckeyes, one Buckeye in particular has been very busy, I think. I'm going to give them credit because I think it's fun too. Jerry Emig launches the official Heisman campaign for the Buckeyes. We have Sayin Heisman and JJ for Heisman as 2 official campaigns launched. The Buckeyes roll out 2 websites for them, and it seems like we have 2 types of campaigns going on. Buckeyes and Ohio State media and the Ohio State program pushing these Heisman campaigns, and then the rest of the nation begging everyone else to find someone good enough to not have to give this to a Buckeye. Because you know how miserable they're going to have to be if the Buckeyes potentially repeat with a Heisman? It's like I can't turn on the TV and enjoy my favorite sport of college football without seeing these damn Buckeyes. And I, for one, love it.
Yeah. I mean, it's great to see a Heisman campaign. I mean, I think at least from all my time maybe watching State, I don't know if I've really seen a Heisman campaign launched like that I remember. Am I missing one?
Excuse me. Your co-host launched a Heisman campaign right on this very platform, okay? The greatest Heisman campaign since Troy Smith, the Tommy Heismanberg campaign, okay? I'm sorry it wasn't as successful as I wanted it to be, but I tried my best to get Tommy Eichenberg to New York.
I'm sorry, somebody who was actually getting paid to do that.
That's true.
In all my time, I've seen plenty of people who did it voluntarily, but I don't know if I've seen Ohio State actually launch the Heisman campaign. So it's good to see. It's good to see that. Hopefully it keeps the trajectory rolling years forward. And I want to see some, man, if I'm Ohio State, the amount of billboards I'm putting with JJ for Heisman around Florida, oh my, that's there goes the whole recruiting budget. I'm just having JJ boards everywhere, right next to the University of Miami. Like, I'm surrounding it with JJ for Heisman boards out there. So, oh man, it's good to see. I'm glad to see they're doing their job. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of this coming from the fan base, absolutely heckling, saying, "Get us a Heisman campaign. I don't care how you do it. I don't care how good it is. I just want to see one." And finally, get a couple websites. I think Jeremiah Smith and Julian Sayin have absolutely balled out this season, and Julian Sayin again puts on a masterful performance. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to beat him for the Heisman the way he's playing right now. And we know how much respect we have for Jeremiah Smith around here, but Julian Sayin is absolutely lighting the world on fire. So I want to continue to see that, and I think it's fun. And again, no waste the opportunity, man. Get those billboards out there. All of California, all of Florida should be painted in those billboards.
Absolutely. It is officially award season. Chris Drew did a breakdown of all the potential awards the Buckeyes could be winning this season. So if you haven't checked that out, be sure to check that out in the Bleacher Report app and the Ohio State team stream. Another award that is on the table and currently being voted on is the Biletnikoff fan vote, which is essentially turns into one official vote for the Biletnikoff Award. I know there are tons of votos, but back in 2013, the vote was decided by one vote, which was the fan vote that actually tipped the scale for, I believe, Brandon Cooks back in 2013. So let's make sure that we keep Jeremiah Smith at the top of that. He is currently winning with, I believe, 43% of the vote over Chris Brazil and at Tennessee. So yeah, make sure you vote daily on that. You can vote once a day. Make sure you're alternating your votes between Jeremiah and Carnell. Make sure we're stat padding there. But yeah, Jeremiah takes the lead, is at 42%. And it looks like the Buckeyes are in line potentially to grab some hardware in pursuit of a second national championship in a row.
Yeah, I think the biggest question right now is, like, if you only had one vote, who are you voting to put the call for? I mean, Carnell Tate again comes out, has another baller weekend. And it's hard for me to say, like, that guy doesn't deserve to put the cough. And I'm arguing with that with his teammate, Jeremiah Smith, who we know has been an absolute monster this season, continuing to up his game, man. It's just like, I mean, really enjoy it. This passing attack and the deep ball that they're throwing is one of the, man, I'm sure we'll get into it, but it's one of the more dynamic things you really will see in college football. And it makes college football fun every Saturday. And it's like, I looked at this Saturday, I was like, Julian, I'm not a college football nurse. I never complained about Julian Sayin's deep ball, but I'm like,
we call them SEC fans around here we call them by their original name because that's their entire agenda now.
The SEC fans, but I'm like, did Julian Sayin's deep ball get better? Like, he threw two on a absolute rope. I'm like, Jesus Christ. So, man, I'm just saying, get your votes in, but definitely enjoy the passing attack we're witnessing right now.
Absolutely enjoy it. Q, you know who's not enjoying things? Hugh Freeze, recently fired at Auburn, and it feels like every week we're coming in and talking about someone losing their job. Hugh Freeze, the latest added to that list. I'm already looking at their recruiting class. Malik Autry, a defensive tackle that the Buckeyes were heavily pursuing. Also, Braylon Womack, 5-star safety. We've talked about him numerous times on the program. Someone to keep an eye on as a potential flip in that scenario, or in that situation with Hugh Freeze being gone at Auburn, them looking for a new coach. I would imagine that would be another name that Buckeyes have their eyes on. We actually had him on one of the graphics last week when we talked about potential flip candidates, and now we see Hugh Freeze officially out, so something to keep an eye on there.
Yeah, well, one, Ron, I would say somebody who's not having fun. If I gave you $50 million not to do this podcast in contract money, I'm pretty sure you would be a happy guy. I know you love this podcast, but I'm sure you can find something better to do and also watch the Buckeye Roast with just me every morning at 10 a.m. So I'm sure you would be okay. But, yeah, I will say, with all these firings going around, you can throw a couple more billboards next to fired coach campuses. Say, hey, Julian for Heisman, if you want to come play on a good team, you know it's good. So, yeah, Hugh Freeze is out there. I know Auburn has a ton of talent. They were definitely spending some money in the recent years. You know what? I wonder, what's Cam Coleman, a sophomore? I wonder what he does this year. Because he's a dude.
Get a lot of money to play somewhere else would be my first guess.
Calling Oregon. This is what you prioritize in.
Hey, son, I heard you wanted your own signature shoe.
Each one of our players has their own signature shoe. Come down to Oregon.
I feel like Oregon's recruiting process is like similar to Willy Wonka, that like some sleazy Nike exec pops up out around a corner like Slugworth to tell you to take all of this money to come to Oregon. I feel like that's how the recruiting process. Like you're just walking home from school and some shadowy figure pops out with a duffel bag full of money and a fake contract for his signature shoe.
Bro, yeah. Oregon doesn't have to recruit. Nike recruits for them. They have employees. That's their job. Oregon recruiter. It's Nike.
I'm just glad Oregon's official basketball team is actually Duke basketball, or Nike's official basketball team is actually Duke basketball and not Oregon basketball. So big shouts out to Nike there. Q, the entire time leading up to this game against Penn State, I only had one thought in my mind, and it was playing this video after we won.
We're going to find that person. Yeah. When we do find them, once we get them back, I'm going to give them right back to them. Really? Say, congratulations, you played yourself.
Congratulations, you played yourself. And I think that's the perfect way to sum up this entire Jim Knowles saga. You see him leave. What do you think was more frustrating for Jim Knowles when you talk about this game? What Ohio State did to his defense, or watching the talent on the other defensive side of the ball that he abandoned to go coach at Penn State?
Probably watching the talent. I would think Jim Knowles fully knew coming in here that this offense was going to get the better of his defense. I mean, now I will say, did he help them out? Sure, by guarding Jeremiah Smith one-on-one at points to say, hey, we'll man up on you, and that didn't work out. But again, when he threw help there, it didn't work out either. So I think he kind of knew that buzzsaw was coming, and Ohio State was definitely going to put up some points. But you just think about this defense and the talent around it and what Matt Patricia has been able to do with these guys. And I will say, I much prefer Matt Patricia's philosophy. I thought Jim Knowles at his time here did have the number one defense. I never complained about that. Flipped his defense, happy with it. I think Matt Patricia is just more versatile. The way he's using Arvell Reese, and we see it now. I don't know if he would have seen that under Jim Knowles. I think he would have let Arvell Reese just play linebacker and not shift him around as much. Not took full advantage of his capabilities. So I definitely love the way Matt Patricia has done with his talent. But I mean, even forget all that. Just the talent on this defense. You put Jim Knowles in here, run it back. We're probably still talking the number one defense in the country. I'm not going to act like Jim Knowles is not a good defensive coordinator because we just saw him for a few years absolutely do that and help us win a national championship. And he's got to be kicking himself like, man, you know what would have been better than one ring? Two. Because these guys are absolutely balling out here. And the way people are talking about this defense, I mean, since really Georgia 2021, maybe you haven't heard people talk about a defense like this. Like, there's few defenses over the last, I'd say, 10 years that have gotten this much praise. And you talk about, and we said it, Ron, we looked at this defense, and somebody appears out of the night like Batman every week. So it's almost like, hey, how many guys out here are trying to bid for All-American positions? But not only that, just the sheer talent, the discipline they play with, the lack of missed tackles, the lack of mistakes. The guys who we don't even talk about are playing extremely well. So Jalen McClain in there, thought he had another good game on Saturday. We don't even really talk about him. Caleb Downs, the best player in America for, we talked about almost 2 years now, being overshadowed by a guy on his team who was just a recruit from Ohio who's lit the world on fire. Like, he's got to be like, man, one more year in a head coaching job at Oklahoma State would not have been that bad.
Q, I think he started a new segment, the Batman Award, each week of the defensive player that comes out of nowhere and says, you know what, I'm going to dominate this week. And Q, someone else, I think we have a new winner of the Batman Award this week with the highest PFF grade on defense. I will get your thoughts on who that could be in just a second, Q. I need your answer right after a message from our sponsors.
Hey guys, we got a lot of cool stuff going on the channel right now, so make sure you like and subscribe. Obviously, Ron and Q are doing a great job going daily for the Buckeye Roast, and then me and Tyler are sprinkled throughout the week doing all things Ohio sports. The channel hit 3,000 subs super quickly, and we couldn't do that without you guys, and we want to continue to grow. So make sure you like and subscribe, and we appreciate you guys as always. What does my little brother do? He goes, peace.
Q, we're almost at 4,000. We're going to have to record a new version of that video, but I wanted to circle back to our conversation. Q, your guess on who had the highest PFF grade on defense this past weekend?
I can't guess because I already know the answer to who had it. But I will say, if I didn't know just by being on Twitter, that would have not been my guess of Edric Houston. But I can't wait. I've been waiting around for this all 22 to drop. I can't wait to watch it because I want to see how well he played. Because if Edric Houston is actually back to the one we predicted we see in this season, look out, man.
We've been talking about this on this show. We've been talking about it on the Bleacher Report show. This Ohio State defense still has the potential to keep getting better and better and better. And I think we watched Will Smith play his best game in an Ohio State uniform this past weekend. I think we watched Edric Houston play his best game in an Ohio State uniform. Tywan Malone has held down that starting defensive tackle role. If the Buckeyes go from, I have questions about this interior, to how good is this interior, I think this team is just continuing to find new ways to terrify the rest of the country.
Yeah, and then, against Penn State, JTT, KJJ, absolutely coming out and just doing his best JTT impersonation. It was like, man, he was everywhere on Saturday. And again, a guy you almost forget about. I'm like, man, we got all these guys flashing. Where's Caden Curry at? He's out there causing havoc. There's just
getting held.
Yeah, probably.
Being held. That's why.
Ohio State, man, and people say our fan base complains a lot, and we do. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of crying on Twitter. There's a lot of ridiculousness that goes out there. It just comes with it. But just the fact of getting our first pass interference call all season, almost like the holding calls all last year that down the stretch of our defense that we couldn't get in the playoff run. It's just like, we don't, we have some stuff to complain about. You're telling me, and we seeded 4D or 4K, maybe 5K against Texas, the amount of pass interference and holding that was going on. But just going that long without a call is absolutely ridiculous. So always something to complain about, but we have reason for that. But just, man, the amount of talent on this defense and the way they were flying around again. Jim Knowles probably left that stadium like, man, I guess the money's great. I couldn't ask for much more. But 1 year in Ohio just couldn't have been that bad.
I mean, I don't know if they could have found any more money in the state of Pennsylvania. They might have had to raise taxes if they paid them any more money. And as a Pennsylvania taxpayer, no thanks. Chris and I already talked post-game. We did our instant reaction, and I always like to get your thoughts post-game because we usually don't talk until we record the show as far as about Ohio State. We normally talk about nonsense throughout the weekend, but actually getting to talk about Ohio State football, not usually what we're talking about on the phone. So I just wanted to get your thoughts from the game. I mean, I thought the Buckeyes absolutely dominated. People made a big stink out of it during the halftime space about the fact that I said it was just disappointing the way the score looked at halftime because it felt like we laid an egg. And everyone's like, what do you mean we laid an egg? Our offense scored on every possession, blah, 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 blah. The defense was great except for the fumble. And I was like, yeah, I get that. Number one, I'm hungover. I was at a wedding yesterday. I'm editing a graphic. I'm watching the TV, and I'm talking in a halftime space. I'm just yapping. What I meant by laid an egg, it was like we come out with all this intensity and you find a way to still make a mistake that essentially negated all of the success that they had in the first half, in a half that felt like the Buckeyes won 35-0. They go in the half with a 3-point lead. And my instinct, like in the moment, I even tweeted, I said, I don't even want to tweet right now because I know I'm going to say something crazy because that fumble just pissed me off. Like, that was the first play of the season that, like, made me angry. Like, this team has not made me mad all year, and like that play pissed me off, and I was like, I don't want to get on a microphone right now because I'm gonna say something stupid because I'm pissed about the way that whole sequence went. Like, the fact that we fumbled and then we gave up the points because it was just so predictable, like momentum wise. Like, there's no way you give up the ball in plus territory like that and don't get scored on. So it's just obviously the punishment of turning the ball over there. But overall, you look back at this game, I mean, the offense had looked the most proficient it has all year. You see everybody get involved in the passing attack. I believe BI had 41 yards receiving. We had 3 other tight ends catch the ball. And then they don't score in the second half. An overall dominant victory from the Buckeyes. I just want to get your takeaways on the game and some of the things that stood out to you. Those were the main things for me of like, it just felt like that one mistake. And it just shows like how important every possession is and how important it is to protect the ball, because one costly mistake changes the entire look of what the first half was, which was a dominating performance from the Buckeyes despite that one mistake in the last 2 minutes. And it just shows you got to play whistle to whistle and make sure that you're completing the play.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, that did. I mean, going to halftime, it should have been at worst 17-7 probable if we don't fumble that ball 24-7, and it's not even close to being ever a game. It very much reminded me of Oregon, the Darren Harmon strip of Quinshon Judkins, when I still promise to this day, if Quinshon Judkins does not fumble that ball, like, Ohio State is rolling at Oregon last year and probably wins.
You could make the same argument about the Travion Henderson personal foul against Texas.
Yeah, it's like Ohio State is absolutely rolling. It's the same thing. I was absolutely rolling. Could have blew out Texas if he doesn't push a guy in his face. We're going down and make it 14-0. I forget what the score was at Oregon, but we were rolling. We were maybe about to go up, 17-3 or so. I don't know what the score was, but that made it a game, gave Oregon confidence, and they somehow got back in the game. Luckily, this Penn State team is not as good as either of those teams. But the score should have been at worst 17-7, not even close, and we have that mistake. That was the glaring issue, Brady, on the day, and I'm sure it was not fun going to see Coach Locke on the sideline after that. So I'm sure he got his well-due punishment, because that's not something I would want to do. Hopefully, God, I'm glad at work my boss is not Coach Locke. But a lot of things on Saturday. I wrote down some notes. I kind of hinted on. I'm gonna hit up some other stuff real quick, and I'll get back to that. A lot of 11 personnel on Saturday. I was happy to see it. I thought the change up in the offense was masterful. We've talked about it ad nauseum. I think I've done it a little more than you, just the use of the tight ends, and I don't mind how many tight ends we play. I'm cool with it. I thought we played maybe too many, but if it is, it is. But I'm saying, hey, you got. Now they let the cat out the bag, and we didn't see Mylan Graham and Quincy Porter now get in the game and to have some action. We got at least 5-6 guys over here that can get run and make plays, and I want to see more 11 personnel. I want to see the wide receiver used more. You talk about Brandon Ennis. You get to see him early and often. I thought he had a really good game. Not a lot of targets as much as the other two, but I thought for what he was, you count the holding penalty as probably another 30-yard catch. So he probably would have ended without that. He probably would have ended up at like 70 yards, 80 yards if they didn't hold him. So I thought he had a really good game. It's good to see. And again, a lot of people were on BI early in the season. It seems like the more opportunity he's getting better through the season, and he's really coming to his own, which we're going to need later in the year in our playoff run. So I thought he had a really good game. Wanted to highlight him. Love the 11 personnel. I thought the tight ends picked it up. Now, we haven't seen the blocking on the all-22, and I think that was our problem probably going into the bye. We had a little bit of beef with that, so we will have to see that and reevaluate that later. But a lot of them did get catches. Bennett Christian with a touchdown, so I'm happy to see the use of there. But I thought the offense was rolling, and the run game looked a bit better to me. I thought the change-up, not being so tight end heavy. If we got 3 tight ends, what are we going to do? Oh, run the ball up the middle. I thought the change-up and that helped the run game out a bit. I mean, Bo Jackson, 8 yards to carry, 7 yards to carry, something like that. I got to look at the stats again, but thought he had another good game. And I thought the running backs, if you have that stat, go ahead.
8.1.
8.1. So actually ball now. I will say I thought the running backs, and I don't know if you felt this, Ron, down the line, 1 through, 4 backs. I thought down the line they all ran pretty hard. Now, we see who the talent is. Okay, -1. Okay. I thought they all ran pretty hard. I mean, we saw C.J. Donaldson have a couple power runs where I'm like, oh, there's the power back. He moved the pile a couple times. I was happy to see that. I thought James Peoples, for the couple carries he got, looked good. But
no, I can't let you do that. I'm not even. I can't. You can give credit to everyone else, not him. As long as run of the day was 5 yards, and he had 2.4 yards per carry.
I thought he had a couple 10-yard
and a fumble.
Well, that's Donaldson. But I'm talking about James Peoples. That was my last.
Oh, James Peoples. Yeah, he had an 11-yard run. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I thought Donaldson, he had a couple power runs where it looked like he moved the pile. And we haven't seen that really all season, where it's like, yeah, that pile's not going nowhere if Donaldson's hitting it and they didn't move. So he didn't have a great game, but I thought he ran harder than he has before, and the fumble really negates that. But again, Bo Jackson, Isaiah West, I think, are the cream of the crop here, and those will be the guys going forward as it looks right now for the rest of the season. Thought they played well. Again, the offense, not really. Was there a sack given up? Was there a sack given up on Saturday? I think there maybe one. I don't know if there was. Zero
sacks.
Yeah, pass protection is still good, especially with the guys Penn State has over there on the edge against all Chaz Coleman. Show up again. It's like, dang, hey, you sure you don't want to come back to Ohio? We'll see about that. But yeah, I thought offense played well. I want to start with this, and I think I did. I thought Penn State, as far as the talented group, and we talked about this before the game, talked about this is a game to get up for. I thought Penn State actually, for what they could do, played pretty hard and brought it. I thought those edges showed up a little bit. I thought the running back showed up. I thought that offensive line that we picked in the preseason to be the Ohio State killer, at least for a drive, showed up and were able to block some guys and move the ball. So I thought, again, with getting Grunkemeyer back there starting the first game, he really had no chance. But I thought the NFL talent that we talked about being on this team did show up and try their best. So I did want to give credit to them. Defensively, and it's just I say this every week. The run defense was tested a little bit. They gave a drive and said no more of that. That was done. Kenyatta Jackson was an absolute star in this rotation of stars. Talk about Edric Houston grading out. I'm excited to watch all 22 and see him better, because on the TV it's just hard to watch him really play and see his involvement. I mean, Caden McDonald, probably the best defensive tackle in college football. Again, the linebacker duo just continues to be elite. I want to give Sonny Styles credit week in, week out, because I think what he does, Arvell Reese is just a freak show and flash off the screen so much that he gets overshadowed. And I'm happy Caleb Downs did not get a targeting call. I was pretty close to getting one, so fingers crossed he did not. Ends up with a pick. But again, the secondary really gave up nothing. Like, I just feel so bad that there's just not enough interceptions to go around between these cornerbacks and safety, because Jermaine Matthews and Igbenogson, if not both of them deserve an All-American bid, at least one of them, because they just don't give up anything. And I get it. We're not playing against Jeremiah Carnell Tate on the other side of the ball except at practice. But it's like they just give up nothing. Like, it's almost like the guys are just out there doing cardio. So it's just like, man, it's so hard to play against this defense that I just think those guys continue to deserve credit week in, week out. But that was really my notes for Saturday without watching the film.
Yeah, I can't wait to take a look at the film. And yeah, we've joked about it on this podcast. Like, I mean, who would want to have to defend Ohio State's wide receivers daily in practice? Like, Denzel Burke has had the hardest 4 years of practice than out of any defensive back in the country. What he's been asked to do his 4 years at Ohio State and the people that they've put in front of him. Like, I wouldn't wish that on anyone. So shout out to the DBs that decide to sign up for that hellacious experience throughout the week. And then I guess they get to take it easy on the weekends when they go from covering Ohio State's wide receivers during the week and then Liam Clifford on Saturday.
Yes, yeah, a little bit easier, man. It's just like, man, I talk about the 2019 defense. That was always my crown jewel, and the 16 defense with Malik Hooker and Marshawn Lattimore and those guys. This defense is more fun to watch than those. And I get to Chase Young. Chase Young was like a revelation, which is the amount of camaraderie around this defense and arguing who's having the best week. Who's the best player? Who's balling out? Who deserves to be an All-American when really what we said at the beginning of the season, like there may be like 5 All-Americans on this defense. It's just they're not all going to get it, but they all deserve campaigns to get it because there probably is about 4 or 5 guys that really deserve bids for that. It's been so much fun. And again, hopefully we can continue to play at this level, continue this high level of intensity. Again, the schedule is not great, so these guys are going to get shanked just because teams don't have SEC names. If you throw Auburn in there for a Nebraska, people be like, oh, you played Auburn. Oh, it's a tough game. But it's just like the Big Ten doesn't have that kind of name recognition, but these guys deserve a ton of credit. And again, I hope at the end of the season they get their due, because I get it. Jerry Emmings now launching Heisman campaigns, man, launch some All-American campaigns, because a lot of guys on this team deserve due.
Absolutely. I mean, just another prayer for Denzel Burke. I look down at my phone and I get a notification for Peek Behind the Curtain. It's 9:03 at night. Marvin Harrison Jr. ankle breaker touchdown. Denzel Burke still has to cover that guy in practice. He can't catch a break. Q. That's all I have for today. Prayers for Denzel Burke. And let him find peace.
When you said, I knew exactly where you were going.
Just pray for peace in Denzel's life, man, because it's just not fair. The people that he's had to match up against. Q. That's all I have for today. A big shout out to our community for all the support we saw. I saw a record breaking episode for a YouTube video with my face on it in that last Bleacher Report reaction video. So appreciate everyone for the support on that. All the people that checked out that video, hit the like button, all the new subscribers. Hope you're checking out this show for the first time. And yeah, a big apology for us taking 2 days off because life.
We're back. But yeah,
we are back. People know where they can find you.
Yeah, appreciate everybody again tuning in week to week. I love the tweets. Again, continue to send in the pictures; those are awesome to see. I have some stuff to throw in the community from my weekend, so definitely will do that. But I appreciate everybody getting involved, getting active, making friends. We've putting people meet on this platform, exchange information on this platform. Like, it's just been a heaven sent. So appreciate all the people in the community, all the members, whether you gifted subs or you joined up. Chris Drew is working hard behind the scenes. I've gotten more calls from him in the past 3 weeks than I've gotten in years. So when Chris is calling,
pretty soon you're going to be getting a call. What color does the Bugatti need to be at the Christmas party?
I say it's 2 things. The Chris Drew is calling me. I'm either getting fired or something really good is happening. I haven't gotten fired yet. So it's all thanks to you. So appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button. Appreciate you hit that sub button. If you want to be a member, do that. We are having a lot of content behind the scenes and more creative stuff coming. So greatly appreciate that. If you want to find me personally, City Boy Quittin on Twitter, Find It Johnson on Instagram. But the most important place to find me is here Monday through Friday on the Buckeye Roast here on Dead Air Sports. So make sure you do that. And Ron, where can they find you at?
If you want to find me, you can find me here Monday through Friday on the Buckeye Roast here with my guy Q, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. You can catch me in the Bleacher Report app after Ohio State games for an instant reaction with Chris Drew every Saturday after Buckeye games in the Ohio State team stream on the Bleacher Report app. And you can catch me on Twitter at 2Ts. That's 2_TEES. We appreciate everybody sending pictures, tuning in, smashing that like, all of that good stuff. It helps the channel grow, and we are growing at a rapid pace and couldn't thank you guys enough. You know how this thing ends. It's always go Bucks. And of course, OH.
IO.
Hey guys, we got a lot of cool stuff going on the channel right now, so make sure you like and subscribe. Obviously, Ron and Q are doing a great job going daily for the Buckeye Roast, and then me and Tyler are sprinkled throughout the week doing all things Ohio sports. The channel hit 3,000 subs super quickly, and we couldn't do that without you guys, and we want to continue to grow. So make sure you like and subscribe, and we appreciate you guys as always. What does my little brother do? He goes, peace.
Come on, man. Hughes is here. We get champagne. We own that. We own that.
When I hit the scene, everybody know me. 40 tuck in my skinny jeans. I'm so fucking low key. All hundreds, finna go get some cream. This another show week. It's a show week. Out the 7 days, I gotta pick up 40. Mama told me, baby, get you some sleep. Gotta turn down, move slow, please. I go home, rock my son to sleep. Gotta stay awake, get more of these. Nigga, you mad cause you ain't getting no cheese. Whole hood charge you whole fee. Sometimes there's no one to watch over me. Too broke, can't get close to me. Send an op, say hello to me. Never respect when approaching me. And don't act like you don't know it's me. Know that bitch somewhere close to me. And I ain't got no reason to be on that. You the one to vent to your homie. Even though I really be on that. Beat a nigga up if you want that. You can't even buy a whole lunch, Jack. Better get a clock and punch that. Used to run my hood like a rug rat. We went to war with one guy. Ain't lying, we'll go, they come back. All on defense, we bust back. So they want me whack. How they shots out the back of the lat. I spit that shit that you get high to and make you want clap after that. Then drop some shit that make you contemplate on it after the fact. Rap about the shit you living, nigga, what happened to that? I don't give a fuck about the rap game no more, nigga, I'm after the check. I ain't with the rap beef, nigga say my name once, I'm after his neck. Reach for 150, I'm